Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio. This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio 99.1 FM.
Good afternoon and welcome to your main newscast on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. My name is Joshua Van Sleckman.
And I'm Amrita Koshal.
And together we bring to you your main newscast. Let's get to the news in details. Despite the fact that the government is yet to sign off on any of the required approval or licenses for the development of the Yellowtail oil field in the Stabroek Block, Exxonmobil Guyana has linked a quote-unquote large contract for the subsea installation for that project. The news was disclosed on Monday by Technip FMC, which said a large contract is signed between $500 million and $1 billion. It was noted, however, that the full contract award will not be included in the inbound orders until the project receives final investment decision and government approvals. The news of the quote-unquote large contract comes on the heel of recent reports that Esso was already in talks with SBM Offshore, the Dutch floater specialist that constructed the first two FPSOs for the company to construct the Yellowtail FPSO. Those negotiations were being had even before the public scoping exercise had been completed. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News.
Guyana's mid-year report on its financial performance and standing as a country reported its total stock of debt to be some $3 billion, and according to former Minister of Finance Winston Jordan, the country's ballooning debt should be of concern to all Guyanese. According to Jordan, the administration's signaled intention to borrow several billions more is based on the assumptions that oil resources will continue to earn at current world market prices at some $80 per barrel. According to the former finance minister, the fact that none of the large-scale projects have been factored into the equation should be of concern. Jordan referenced a recent confirmation on the part of Vice President Barry Jagdeo and first reported in another section of the media that the government was looking to access some $1.5 billion in loans from China. These additional debts to be contracted, according to Jordan, do not even include the regular borrowing from institutions like the World Bank, the Caribbean Development Bank, and the IDB, among others.
In what is now being described as an untenable situation, foreign and international stalwart Carl Greenidge, who was retained as an advisor to the president for Guyana's border case with Venezuela and the International Court of Justice, has handed the president an ultimatum, namely to remove Minister of Foreign Affairs Hugh Todd from the management of the case, among other demands. The information now coming to light is documented in a letter by Greenidge to the president outlining the infighting involving at least two government ministers, namely Gail Teixeira and Todd, in addition to Guyana's ambassador to Suriname, Keith George. In a letter dated April 7th last to the president, Greenidge drew reference to a specific meeting of the Ministerial Advisory Committee where he described the behavior of the named ministers as quote-unquote out of place, offensive, and calculated to offend.
Despite the clear-cut requirement by law for the environmental impact assessment of ExxonMobil's Yellowtail project to be produced by an independent organization, the draft document was co-signed by a PPP candidate in the 2020 elections, Shyam Nokta, thereby sparking questions with regards to the credibility of the document. During the consultative session of the Yellowtail project, hosted by the EPA and the consultancy firm Environmental Resources Management, ERM, and ESSO, environmentalist Simone Mangle-Jolly highlighted this flaw as she questioned the legitimacy of the document. Ms. Mangle-Jolly further noted that the EIA document never referenced a conflict of interest and that there was also no explanation of how such a conflict was addressed in the production of work. Representative Jason Wiley explained that Nocta's signature was indeed on a draft version of the non-technical study, and even though his data was used in the production of the EIA, his company was not directly involved.
The opposition's shadow minister for the oil sector, David Patterson, has submitted a motion to Parliament which calls on the Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat to explain the government's failure to order the $9 billion in expenses incurred by Exxonmobil on the Stabroek block. In this regard, he wants to know the specific reason for the discontinuation of the tender evaluation for the auditors for that job, as well as for the minister to name the person who made the decision to discontinue the evaluation process. In the motion, Patterson wants the minister to confirm if an audit of ExxonMobil's pre-contract costs totaling $460 million up to 2015 has been completed. If he answers in the affirmative, Patterson wants the minister to provide a copy of the document to the National Assembly. This is your main newscast on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. We will be back after the break. Stay with us.
Digicel Prime Bundles just got better with 3 new apps. Watch more with PlayGo. Cheer more with Sportsmax. Read more news with Loop. Listen more with D-Music. Plus extra data. It's simply more bundled together. 51 gigabytes for 7 days for only $2,000. Live the experience with Digicel. Activate today on the My Digicel app.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
My name is Amrita Koshal, and this is your news at noon. Pertinent information regarding the impact ExxonMobil's offshore operations can have on the fishery sector here in Guyana is lacking in the company's environmental impact assessment. In fact, even though oil production has commenced, the company is clueless as to the kinds of effects its work can have on the fishery sector, and data is now being collected to analyze the situation. Highlighting these concerns were environmentalist Simone Mangle-Jolly during the online consultations held by the EPA on ExxonMobil's Yellowtail project. According to Mangle-Jolly, even though Exxon compiled a fishery study, the document failed to highlight the migratory patterns of fish, among others. Mangle-Jolly also flagged that there is no information on any chemical testing of fish, as no baseline data had ever been collected prior to the company's operations. The environmentalist said she was very concerned as the regulatory authority under the previous governing allowed this to occur, and the present administration continues to turn a blind eye to the situation.
Out of the 15 contractors who bid to construct a vocational school for the Lusignan prison, a project which falls under the Ministry of Home Affairs, bid at half the price that is estimated to construct the building. According to the engineer's estimate, the cost to build the school is $113,441,780. The company that bid the lowest was A. Nazir and Son Contracting and General Supplies, which revealed that it can build the school for the sum of $60,015,249. Meanwhile, the highest bidders was the DKE Enterprise, which bid at $139,653,875 for the project. This project was among 13 government projects which were opened yesterday at the National Procurement and Tender Board Administration Office located at the Ministry of Finance building.
The Minister of Home Affairs, Robeson Ben, revealed that a proposed bill to Parliament for the use of tasers is expected to be approved before year-end. However, the minister stated that the bill is currently awaiting parliamentary presentation and its approval. He explained that the Guyana Police Force will be equipped with tasers to minimize the use of lethal force and to immobilize the threat of violence to police officers and others. This has been a problem that the GPF faces when encountering these types of situations. In a video seen recently, 2 policemen were met with violence from a man as they tried to arrest him at Middle Road, Georgetown. In this case, the officers chose not to draw their pistols. Furthermore, this caused a crowd of people to gather around the officers as they were being beaten by the man.
It is 12 hours 12 in Guyana and right across the Eastern Caribbean. It is time for your COVID-19 updates. 2 women from Region 4 who contracted COVID-19 have died. This is according to the Ministry of Health, which reported yesterday that the fatalities are that of an unvaccinated 93-year-old and a 78-year-old whose vaccination status was unknown. As a result of this, the country's COVID-19 death toll has moved to 961. Meanwhile, 44 new cases were recorded, taking the total number of confirmed cases to 36,916. 17 patients admitted into the COVID-19 ICU, 51 persons is in institutional isolation, 2,018 in home isolation, and 7 in institutional quarantine. To date, a total of 33,869 persons who tested positive for the virus have recovered.
We now turn to page 7 of the Kaieteur News. Blunt. The VP is now saying that the Gas to Shore project could cost more than $900 million. We saw that coming and told readers that before. Just like we had warned and said that Exxon's $10 billion unchecked bills will be paid in full. Anything some people touch always suck the life out of everybody else, especially their money. Guyanese know people like that. They should look at their leaders.
And with that, we've come to the end of your main newscast on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. My name is Joshua Van Slackman.
And I'm Amrita Koshal.
And inviting you that you can get the full details of these stories and much more by picking up a copy of the Kaieteur News at a newsstand near you, or head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com. Have a great remainder of your day. Coming up after this, we will continue with the rebroadcast of the Glenn Lal Show, followed by your Wednesday edition of the National Outlook with GHK Lal. Thank you for joining us once again.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.